close. When we're close to getting it right, is to withdraw because of the next election.
How long will the surge last?
Lindsey? The surge is set. It's been in place for 2 weeks, and we've done more in Anbar. And last show was September. It's been in place for 2 weeks, and it's made enormous progress.
But how long do you believe the surge will last?
When General Petraeus comes back, he will tell us these things. I want to leave. No American wants to occupy Iraq, but history will judge us, my friend, not when we left, but what we left behind. Do we leave a resurgent al-Qaeda that will kill every moderate who helped us? Do we empower Iran? Do they control the south of Iraq? Nobody ever asked the consequences, posed the consequences of this idea. Just wash your hands of Iraq. I'm going to listen to this general, and I'm not going to let any politician take the place of the general.
I'll give you a chance to respond.
Lindsey's had a hard month. You know, these people who have, gathered around the president, on the immigration bill, on this bill. I know it's been tough.
It's about the next 20 and 30
We got to bring
years.
people together and get a diplomatic solution in place here that's in consonance with this. When the president announced the surge in January, he said that by the end of this year, all of the provinces in Iraq would be under the control of the Iraqis. That's clearly not going to happen. And the bottom line here is whether you want to stay for 10 years, or whether you want to stay for 6 months. Excuse me, friend. We need to find a formula that takes care of the well-being of our soldiers and our Marines. And there is no operational policy that justifies what we've been doing. The traditional operational policy has been if you've been gone for a year, you get 2 years back. We're now in a situation where the soldiers and the Marines are having less than a 1-to-1 ratio, and somebody needs to speak up for them rather than simply defend what this president
when they re-enlist in the highest numbers anywhere else in the military.
This is one thing I really take objection to is politicians.
Let them win. Let them win. They want to win. Let them win.
As politicians who try to put their political views into the mouths of soldiers, you can look at poll after poll, and the political views of the United States military are no different than the country writ large. Go take a look at the New York Times today. Less than half of the military believes that we should have been in Iraq in the first place. Have you ever been to these? I've covered 2 wars as a correspondent.
Have you been to Iraq?
I have been to Afghanistan.
Have you been to Iraq and talked to the soldiers?
You haven't been to Iraq.
Have you ever been to Iraq? I've been there 7 times.
You go see the dog and pony shows. That's
been there as a reservist. I have been there, and I'm going back in August.
I've been a member of the military when the senators come in.
Something we can agree on. We both admire the men and the women in uniform. I don't.
Don't put political words in their mouth.
My election. I'm up for election. Every Republican who's supporting this position is doing it against the cause. This is not about my election, my friend. This is about the next generation.
You said on the floor this week.
The troops are not the problem.
Let them win.
The troops can win.
35% of the United States military agrees with the policy of this president.
Well, why do they keep re-enlisting? Why do they go back?
Because they love their country.
No, because they
love their country. And they do not do it for political reasons. Believe me, my family's been doing this since the Revolutionary War.
So is my family.
They do it because they love their country, because they have a tradition, and it is the responsibility of our national leaders to make sure that they are used properly.
In conclusion, I think they go back because they see the face of the enemy that we're fighting. They don't want their kids to go back. They don't want their grandkids to go back.
7 or 8 people that
Bin Laden said this is the third world war in Iraq. They go back because they know the consequences of losing. God bless.